12-year-old Alex was about to spend his first night in his new home with his family. The house was old, large, and filled with antique furniture. Alex was a little tired from the moving day, but finally, he went to his room to rest. The day before, everything had gone quickly during the move, but now that he was alone, he couldn't shake the eerie feeling that this house brought. It was in a village, and it felt strange to be living in such an old house. That evening, after dinner, Alex's family retreated to their rooms. Alex, though quiet and a bit uneasy in this old house, decided to lay down and go to sleep. The bed was large, and the creaking of the old walls disturbed him. He tried to ignore it and close his eyes, but he couldn't fall asleep. After a while, he heard a tapping sound. At first, he thought it was the wind or the house creaking, but this sound was different and distinct. Tap dot 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 tap dot 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 tap dot dot dot. He opened his eyes and looked around, but nothing was there. The light from the wall's old panel cast shadows in the room, but nothing else appeared. The sound continued, getting louder and closer. Alex's heart began to race. Slowly, he got out of bed and turned on the lights. He waited for a while, but nothing happened. Still, the tapping wouldn't stop. Tap dot 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 tap. Tap. It seemed to be coming from inside the room now. Suddenly, the light flickered, and a shadow appeared in the corner of the room. Alex quickly opened his eyes, but no one was there. The shadow seemed to be a trick of his imagination, but his heart was racing faster. He didn't want to close his eyes, but he also couldn't understand what was happening. The rest of the night passed with an unsettling feeling. Alex felt like something was watching him. He couldn't move his arms or legs. His body was stiff, his nerves tingling with fear. He kept opening and closing his eyes, hoping the fear would subside. Morning came, but Alex hadn't slept at all. He told his parents about the tapping sounds, but they laughed it off, telling him it was just the old house settling. But Alex couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. He still couldn't understand the strange occurrences in the house. Night came again, and Alex wasn't sure if he was brave enough to face another night in this strange house. But as the hours passed, the darkness of the room became thicker. As usual, Alex closed his eyes to try to sleep. But again, the tapping began. Tap dot 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 tap dot 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 tap. This time, the sound was closer than before. Alex was terrified. He made up his mind that he had to find out where the sound was coming from. Slowly, he got out of bed and crept to the door. He opened it quietly, trying not to make a sound. The house was silent. He checked every room, but everything seemed normal. But then, Alex's eyes landed on an old picture frame on the wall. The frame was strangely placed in the corner. As he lifted it, he found something behind the photo. "Don't close your eyes." His heart raced as he read the words. He didn't recognize the family in the picture. Slowly, he noticed another note behind the wall. "You must see me every night." As Alex read the note, a cold chill ran down his spine. The tapping resumed, but this time, the sound came from outside his door. A voice, soft and faint, whispered, "Don't close your eyes." Alex froze. He didn't know what to do. In that moment, he saw a shape on the wall, a shadow of a child, moving slowly across the room. The room grew colder. His breath became shallow, and he couldn't move. The whisper grew louder. "Don't close your eyes." Alex felt a chill down his spine. his legs trembling. He tried to scream, but no sound came out. As he turned his head, he saw the shadow was getting closer, its face now visible. It was the face of a child, hollow-eyed and grinning. Alex couldn't breathe. The shadow stood right in front of him now, the cold air surrounding him like an icy hand. He finally managed to scream, but it was weak, barely a whisper. The shadow didn't move. Instead, it reached out a hand, cold as death. The voice whispered again, closer this time. "You must never sleep." Alex stumbled backward, his body frozen in terror. The shadow's hand was inches from him when suddenly the door slammed shut. Alex ran to the door, his heart racing. The room was pitch black, and the tapping had stopped. There was nothing but silence. He opened the door and ran down the hall, his feet slapping the cold floor. He didn't stop until he reached his parents' room. He rushed inside, shaking. But when they opened their eyes, the room was empty. There was no sign of Alex. The house was silent again. But in the reflection of the bedroom mirror, a child's face could be seen. Alex's parents searched the house, but they couldn't find him. The house was old, but nothing had changed. As they stood in the living room, a soft whisper was heard again, this time from the walls. "Don't close your eyes." The parents froze, realizing that they were not alone. The house was alive, and its hunger for souls would never be satisfied. And in the shadows, Alex's face stared back at them, still trapped in the nightmare. Alex's parents, unable to find him, spent the next few nights in the house, unable to shake the feeling that they were being watched. The tapping resumed, louder and more frequent each night, but they never saw Alex again. As the days went on, they started hearing whispers coming from the walls, faint voices saying, "You must see me every night, every night." They could feel the presence of someone or something lurking just out of sight. One night, as the tapping grew louder than ever, Alex's mother decided to investigate. She entered Alex's room, where the air was thick with an unnatural cold. She looked around desperately, searching for any trace of him. But as she approached the wall where Alex had once found the note, she heard something chilling a whisper. "It's your turn now." The lights flickered, and Alex's mother gasped as she saw his shadow in the corner of the room. The shadow of Alex moved toward her, and the room seemed to close in on her. Her heart pounded as the air grew heavier, the room colder. The whispering voice now spoke in her ear. "You cannot escape. You must never close your eyes." She turned, but the door slammed shut. Desperate, she searched for a way out, but the walls closed in, the whispers growing louder. Her breath quickened, her vision blurring. She realized she was not alone. She was never meant to leave. Days later, neighbors reported seeing strange things happening in the house. People swore they saw a child's face in the windows at night, staring out with hollow eyes. The house had become a place of nightmares. No one dared to step foot inside. Alex's parents had disappeared without a trace, just like their son. The house still stands, abandoned and decaying. But those brave enough to walk by at night report hearing a faint, eerie whisper coming from the walls. "Don't close your eyes." Alex froze. He didn't know what to do. In that moment, he saw a shape on the wall, the shadow of a child. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more terrifying tales. Share your thoughts in the comments below and let us know what you'd like to see next. Stay tuned, and remember, don't close your eyes.